Welcome to Small Arm Solutions. Today we're looking at the Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro. Now, this pistol's been out for a little while. Now, I don't try to be the first one to get videos out. Basically, what I like to do is I like to give the gun some time. I like to put some rounds through them. I like to get really familiar with them and see how they really shoot. So the guns tend to go out to the range 2-3 times. And in this case, I was very interested because the original Hellcat, as we see here, was one of the pistols that was in the running for me for my everyday carry to replace my Glock 42. And after a lot of soul searching and a lot of deep looking, I wound up going with the SIG P365 for reasons of just it felt a little bit narrower to me. It felt a little flatter. Other than that, for as far as the mechanics were concerned, there was nothing I could take away from it for as far as its quality with the SIG pistol. But, you know, it is a relatively small pistol. If you look at it in my hand, you look how much that my hand, I lose my whole bottom finger with it. But the fact is the way that I carry my pistol, I carry it in a holster like this in a pocket. Okay, and this was a special holster that I had made by Recluse that would take the Hellcat pistol along with the TLR6, which is a light laser combo. And also, you see, we have a shield on top of here as well. So this was a very compact. It was very easy to carry, but again, you have to make a decision between the two, and it was a very hard decision deciding between this and the SIG. This pistol has been very successful. This has probably been one of the most successful 9mm carry pistols that's been out there for many years. Well, Springfield Armory is always looking to improve, so they came out with what they refer to as the Hellcat Pro. Basically, what we have here is for people like me who have bigger hands and want something more to hold on to. As you see from here, I could get all my fingers around it. So it's larger. So it also gives you a little bit bigger of a barrel as well. Overall, it's the exact same gun. It has the exact same features, but what the difference is some of the dimensions. Now, when I do a comparison between the Hellcat and the Hellcat Pro, we'll first look at the height. You're looking at a height of 4.8 inches on the Pro versus 4 of the Hellcat. The overall length, you're looking at 6.6 inches on the Hellcat Pro versus 6 inches of the Hellcat. The width, they're both 1 inches. Now, for as far as the barrel end is concerned, you have on the Hellcat Pro 3.7 inches, and you have a 3-inch barrel on the standard Hellcat. Weight, you're looking at about 18 ounces. They're both very similar in weight. And the capacity on the Hellcat Pro is 15, and the capacity for the Hellcat is 11 rounds or 13-round magazines. You have some different options. When you look at this pistol, to me, it seems to have it's more in common with a Glock 19. Now, when you compare this to a Glock 19, this is a much narrower pistol. It's much more comfortable to hold on to. It's light. It's probably about the same weight, but when you really look at the thickness, this is a much thinner pistol also than the Glock 19 as well. So I actually view this as more of a competitor with a Glock 19 style gun than I do as a concealed carry. Because when you look at the two of them, again, you have this one is certainly larger, but for as far as concealing, this one here to me was much better because, again, the way that I carry inside my pocket. However, if you're going to be carrying with a side holster, this one here probably will be much more beneficial going with the Hellcat Pro because, again, it's the more perch you get at with your hand, the more comfortable it's going to be, the probably more accurate you're going to shoot it. So when you look at the overall of the two, you have to ask yourself which one you think is better. Well, I think really what it comes down to is the way you decide you want to carry it. Again, if I was carrying in a side holster, it would be the Hellcat Pro all day long. But due to the fact that I carry in this kind of a holster, this here just sticks out too far. The whole point of having this holster is to make it look like you have a wallet or a cell phone in your pocket. This one here would just stick out too far. This one here is definitely much more ideal for that type of carry. I have these set up the exact same way. They both have the exact same shield red dots on them. They both have the TLR. This has a TLR6. This has a TLR7. This is just a flashlight. This is a flashlight laser combo. The features are basically all the same. So then we're going to do is we're going to take a look just at the features here we have on the SIG Pro, which are going to be the same as here, just a little bit bigger. So looking at the pistol, we have a 9x19 caliber pistol. We're looking at the sight, which is the SMS, and it's the SMS shield, which is adjustable for range and elevation. And I have to say, when this thing came from the factory, it was already zeroed in at 7 yards. It was definitely perfect. Looking at your sights, you have a white U-shaped rear sight. Then you have a tritium front sight, which is yellow. You see it yellow during the daytime. Very high visibility. You have a loaded chamber indicator on the top here. As you look down through here, you can generally see the brass. If it's bright up, if not, generally you have to put a little bit of light in there. Now looking at the barrel. 3.7 inch. This is a cold hammer forged barrel. And a 1/10-inch twist 6 right with a melanite type coating. So it's a very durable type coating. The slide basically is machined from a billet of steel. As you see, we had forward and rearward serrations. It's, again, optics ready. You can remove this if you so choose and just put a plate back on here. So you just have your iron sights. Quite frankly, the way I had my holster set up and everything, it was fine to put the sight on there. Now, again, the only fear you have with the sight is if the batteries go out. But fortunately, you have a co-witness through here, so if the battery does go out and there's no red dot, you're still going to be able to use the sight. So next we're going to look at this is the frame. Again, we have a black polymer type frame. We have 1913 rail on here. Again, we have the TLR7A on here. Looking at the trigger very similar to the Glock trigger. You get the little tit in the middle here to prevent it from going back unless the trigger is pulled all the way to the rear. We have a left side only slide stop, the disassembly lever. For the most part, this for if you're right-handed, you can do the slide with the slide stop, but it's far more realistic to do it with the slingshot position. Magazine, 15 rounds. Again, this is a very thin magazine, especially compared to what the Glock 19 would be. Again, look at this as more of a competitor for a Glock 19 than I do pretty much the the original Hellcat. So we're gonna take this thing apart and see what's inside. Okay, we're gonna lock it to the rear. We're gonna lift upward on the disassembly latch and let that go forward. And this you do have to pull the trigger to release the slide. Slides right off. Looking in the inside, you see we have a very good ramp on here. And that ramp enables us to feed whatever we would want. Again, this pistol here was tested with several different hollow points. It was excellent. As you can see, we have our ejector here. We have our basically our striker release and grab right here. We have right here is the for the firing pin safety. So we have very well made, and you can also see we do have very good gripping. The extra safety can be flipped over to the other side. Now looking at the slide. We have a embedded dual recoil spring, which basically takes away a little bit of the recoil on this one. Because obviously the smaller pistol you get, the more recoil you're going to get. And we have our barrel. Now again, these pistols are made in Croatia, and it's extremely well made. There's no machining marks in here whatsoever. We can see the most important safety you can possibly have, which is the firing pin safety, which ensures this gun will not go off unless the trigger is pulled all the way to the rear. We can see our striker right here. But for as far as the quality is concerned, the machining is absolutely gorgeous. For those of you who do have both of these pistols, this will fit in your Hellcat. Obviously, you're not going to be able to fit your Hellcat magazines in the Pro because they would be too short. So reassembly. Lock back. Drop your lever back down. And there you go. So again, for safeties on here, we do have the trigger safety, we have a shell safety, and we have a loaded chamber indicator. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take this to the range and we're going to see how it shoots. You're shooting high. We have normal jacketed hollow points. As you can see, this pistol shot beautifully. When you put this thing at 7 yards or the 10 yards, when you have your red dot on there, you can basically perform surgery with it. Extremely accurate. The ammunition that we shot was mostly the Black Hills 9mm 115 grain full metal jacket, and the new Norma 9mm 124 grain full metal jacket, and the Norma 9mm 108 grain monolithic hollow point. Of course, we did have some assorted hollow points in there too. HST, we had some Golden Saber, we also had some Gold Dot, and this thing basically shot up everything that it has. And again, using our challenge targets made this thing even that much more fun. Being able to hear that steel hit the target, again, I just much more so enjoy shooting at steel than I do paper targets. For the most part these days, the only time I shoot paper targets is when I want to get a good group to show. The rest of it's always shot on steel. But we do have a code for it if you guys are looking for steel targets. It's a 10% off of any steel target on their website over at Challenge Targets. Our code is SAS to save 10% on any steel target. So overall, both pistols are excellent. You know, you look at the pluses and minuses. I think the real plus and minuses comes to how you do want to carry it. Again, if you're going to be using a holster that's on your side, I certainly think the 15-round magazine capacity Pro is a better option because, again, you get a longer grip. You can definitely be more accurate with the more of a grip you get on it. Absolutely. But again, for me, I would end up going with this one because this is the way that I am. Of course, here in Texas, I generally don't wear heavy clothes. So, my jeans have pockets. This just drops right in place and you can't see it. So it's much more wiser choice for an everyday carry pistol than this one would be. So you can't really say which one's better. I think what it comes down to is which one, how you want to carry it. For as far as the shooting is concerned, you want to shoot. This is a far more comfortable gun. The Pro is as a target shooting gun. Both of them are just as accurate at the ranges that need to be. I definitely see it was why they had come out with a separate model. But for those of you who have Glock 19s, I would also even take a look at this one too, even the Sig P320. I'll take a look at this too because you do have a smaller, flatter gun, extremely accurate, that is much easier to carry than even like the Glock 19 or the Sig P320. Overall, the size is ideal for most carrying conditions. So you won't go wrong with either one of these. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please click like, please subscribe, and even better, share.